Something that I've realized over the past few weeks is that when you become obsessed with being better and having better, and particularly not in the materialistic kinds of ways, but more of the practicalities of life, more of a stoic perspective of life, and more of a decent living way in which you can move through the world and be kind, be courteous, but to not be nice anymore. It's not time to be nice anymore. We've tried being nice and it's gotten us trampled on, it's gotten us bewildered and confused and taken advantage of, and that's not going to happen anymore. We have to go into attack mode now. And this is the time to stay vigorous and ferocious and to still be gracious and have the sense of virility, specifically for the men, to move in the world in which you are not too cocky or anything like that. You're not on the cocky side, but you're not on the weakling side either. You're more of a balance in between. And in some ways, balance is very important. In some ways, well, actually, in most ways, balance is very important. But sometimes balance for your business or for your spiritual practice is all about going all in. And you have to attack the parts of you that are not going to be conducive toward a modality in which you particularly want to thrive and to fight for something. And you know what I see is a lot of people, they will completely and utterly cast out their dreams and their ambitions for the sake of fitting in with the world or fitting in with the people that are around them. And that's not what we're going to be doing on this channel. That's not what we're going to be doing with this brand. Okay, we're wanting people to grow to the best possible version of themselves. And you know, what I've noticed is that the best way to grow with people is to give them something that they can have an ROI on. And for those that are not aware of what an ROI is, it's a return on investment. So you are investing time right now into listening to me speak to you. And for that, I'm grateful. However, this is not about necessarily me. It's about you. It's about God. It's about coming together and building something that will outlast us and that will outlast our physicality in this life. It's about building, I don't want to use the term legacy because really legacy belongs to God. But I do think a family legacy is very important. I do think that having a family legacy or something to pass on to the next person is very, very important. And so my job here is to give you the insights on masculinity, psychology, spirituality, faith, relationships, etc., as much and as clearly as I can so that you can be fruitful in your own life. Because I'm not going to be telling you things that's going to be easily making you cash or anything like that right out of the gate. Because when I say attack formation, when I say it's time to attack, you know, people often will think that are in the world still, they'll think in terms of business or they'll think in terms of relationships or conquering women. It's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the richness of your soul. I'm talking about taking back the richness of your spirit. And I'm talking about letting your light emanate through your being in a way that cannot be dimmed. Because that's what this is about. It's about raising your vibration. And I know that sometimes raising the vibration can sound silly to some people, but that's not, it's not a proper way to view the term. It's not a proper way, because this is all quantum mechanical. Okay, this life that we're living is quantum mechanics 101. And what that means is that if you can understand the ways in which the universe transmits energy and thought patterns of being and symbols, you can transcend certain ways of life far beyond anything that you could possibly imagine. And one thing that I've seen a lot of people doing is that men and women both tend to think that hiding is, or not being seen rather, is what they fear most. A lot of people think that what they fear is to be seen and to not be seen and to not be heard. But what it actually is the opposite in my findings. And this is something I've realized recently, because it is a fact that the more somebody that is in your environment feels seen and heard, the likelihood of them liking you and wanting to see you and hear you is also ever increasing. And that's for healthy relationship dynamics in any way, shape, and form. But the other mode of being and the other facet of life is to be seen, to be visible, and to actually be known, and to have the possibility of being exposed or embarrassed. One of the reasons I was nervous to start this YouTube channel years ago, 2 years now, 2.5 years, and now that I'm starting to grow on other platforms and such, and having the Regal Change Academy that's growing more and more every day, and we're getting more and more fiery conversations in the academy by each call that we have. It's really tremendous to see. And the kinds of professionalism that people have and the kinds of respect people are able to give, it's I really wish I had something like that when I was when I was coming into my spiritual maturation process. But now that I'm more in the matured process, I'm glad that I can at least provide something in which people can come together and people can have those kinds of conversations that can really elevate their minds to a new domain that they didn't even know was possible. Now, what I've also seen, though, that the being visible is often a fear that people have, because there's the possibility of grief and there's the possibility of embarrassment. But here's the thing, being too nice is going to get you on the unseen and the unheard category. But then again, if you're going into attack formation, well, now you're visible, but you're not a pushover. So there's a cost in life to everything, and you've got to choose what you're wanting to invest in. I say this all the time is, are you investing your time or are you spending your time? Because if you're investing your time, then that means that you're moving through the world and you're talking to certain people that are going to have an ROI in. You're going to have an ROI, whether it's experience and whether it's actually business or whatever. If you're actually in business or doing entrepreneurship or whatnot, that's another possibility. However, oftentimes I'll see men halt on their dreams. And I know this not only just because I see it now, but because I was one of those people. I have a story. I haven't really told this too much on YouTube. People behind the scenes know of this story. But there was a period of time for about 6 months or so before I actually started to really be consistent with YouTube. So it was about, April, May of 2022, where I did my first video. And if you want, you can even look back on my YouTube channel to see this. I had no clue what I was doing. And I leave these videos up because I didn't know what I was doing, but I was trying it anyway. I was just going for it because, I had to do something. I was being called to do this, but I didn't understand why. And it wasn't until about October of 2022 when I started to actually get some traction. And some of my first videos that got traction were on narcissism and how narcissists try to steal your personality. And when I was that was a big thing for me at the time, learning narcissism, learning these things. It was very, very important. But throughout those 6 months where I was kind of like teeter-tottering before actually committing to doing YouTube, because I was only doing a video like once every month or two or something like that, not very consistent at all. And whereas now I'm doing it pretty much every day, right? So I don't take days off anymore. And when I was going through that, I had probably 6 to 12 people in that time period, random people who I've never seen again to this day. When I'm out and about in the community, they said, "Hey, you're the guy with the YouTube channel, right?" It's like, no. "Hey, you're the guy with the big social media account, right?" No. "You're the guy with the YouTube channel, right?" No. This literally happened multiple and multiple times, multitude of times. And I finally was just like, okay, God, this is a sign. But I didn't get any traction. I didn't get anything going for a while. And it took 20 videos, I believe. It was about 20 videos for me to finally get some traction. And I prayed. I prayed to God. I said, "Look, God, I don't know what to do here. Like, it seems like you want me to do this, but I don't know. It's almost like I'm ready to give up on this because I don't want to keep putting more time into this and not getting an ROI." And that was the one. That was the video where I prayed beforehand, and bada bing, bada boom. That was the rest is history up until this point. And something that I learned through that time was that I, number one, need to never give up. And number two, I need to stay consistent. And number three, pray before you make these kinds of decisions. Pray before you make certain strategic moves. Look, if you've been nice, you've tried being nice, and you've prayed about being nice, let's say, and it's still not working, it might be time to go into attack mode. Because at least you're going to not be a pushover. At least you're not going to be somebody that just gets taken advantage of. At least then you're going to have some ground to stand on, and you're going to be having a little bit of temperance about you. You're going to have a sense of virtue and a sense of principle that you stand on. You're not just going to, willy-diddly-daddly along and expect things to go all peachy. Okay, the peachiness and sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops, that's for people in the fantasy land, okay? We live in the real world, and that means that we live in a world that we understand that we are interdimensional beings that can transcend this very moment. There are certain modes of life that we've lived in the past, and we don't have to, and we're not obligated to be that same person right here, right now. We don't have to. We do have a choice. Now, is it always the best choice to change course? Who knows? But right now, I am hacking away at things in my business and in my life, like people in general. I'm starting to say no to things more than I'm saying yes to things at this point. And it's funny because there was once a time where I remember years ago where, you're practically trying not to beg a woman to go out with you, right? Now, I have to halt women and just say, no, I've got other things to do, okay? You're a very attractive woman. You're very beautiful, but I can see through the red flags. I see through the red flags. I'm not going to tell her that right off the bat, but sometimes there has been a time or two where I've just said, I see the kinds of things you do with other guys, or I've said, look, I'm not a trick, and I didn't think you were a prostitute, but I didn't say those things just to say them. I really meant them. And, of course they kind of, but, I try to be as low-key and compassionate as possible while understanding that woman, even though she's very beautiful, is probably a demon. With business now, I'm very careful of who I'm doing business with. Even just to get into the Regal Change Academy anymore, I'm doing, thorough examinations of things and trying to understand, who is who. Because I don't want anybody just in this academy and in this community. I don't want anybody just going here, okay? That's what the Telegram is for. We have a new Telegram subscription that you can check out in the link in the description box below. And that is going to be where you can get, daily insights that will expire after 24 hours and, certain things that pop up. And those are just more for people that want to listen, Those are people that are wanting to just get more information and have more of a community-based understanding without being in the paid community for the Regal Change Academy. But what I've seen time and time again is people will value what you bring to the table as value if they have something valuable to offer back. People that don't have anything of value to offer usually don't understand the kinds of value that is being given to them. Do you understand what I'm saying right here? This is why you have to be in attack formation. This is why you don't need to be the nice person anymore. Okay, if you know that you have something valuable to bring to the table, if you know that there's something valuable that you have to give, because when you grow, you do in fact have something to offer and give back to the world. But if when you grow and you have something to give and you're not giving it, you think God is going to reward you? God is not going to reward you with that, okay? God is not going to reward you. And so now's the time to stay in attack formation. It's always the good time to stay in attack formation, spiritually, emotionally, and physically, because that's just how you can vet people a little bit better in your circle. But anyways, guys, I hope this message was useful and insightful for you. I wanted to give you more of a background of just myself and have more of a connection being built with you guys, because I do see this as something that is continually ever growing, and I want to have a relationship with the people that are viewing this kind of stuff. I want to have a relationship with the people that are like-minded and actually understand what I'm saying here and understand the value that it is, because this kind of stuff is people don't know about this kind of stuff a lot of the time. I mean, I remember there was a time in my life where I was told by my whole family, parents even included, that I should just give up on my dreams. I should just not even chase after them. You know, dreams and goals like that I had, that's not worth it in the real world. In the real world, that's not going to happen. That's because they gave up on their dreams. That's because they gave up on their ambitions. Don't you give up on your dreams or ambitions just because somebody in your family or your friend didn't work out for them. But you know why it didn't work out for them? Because they probably quit before it was their time. And I know that because even me myself, just a couple weeks ago, I was getting to a point to where the spiritual attacks were too much, the hate was too much. I was like, you know, do I really want to keep giving to people that aren't even understanding what I'm saying here? Because for the majority, but that's the thing though, I had to have the proper perspective. Joy is a perspective. And I had to have the proper perspective that 80 to 90% of the people that are listening to this kind of stuff understand it. I had to understand that 90% of the people are resonating with this. It's only those loud 10% that are just really annoying that don't resonate with it. And I don't need to listen to those kinds of people, you know. But this is why I pray for my haters. This is why I pray for my enemies, because they're potential allies, okay? So with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. Check out the Telegram link in the description box below. Check out the Regal Change Academy if you do want to join. And also, if you want to do a one-on-one spiritual mentorship session, let me know as well. I do have other things going on in the works. We've got big changes happening, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your evening. Stay blessed, stay peaceful, stay prosperous, and peace be with you all. Until next time.